Hi everybody, Sandy and Bob here. So tonight I'm making paella. It makes me a little bit sad that I'm wondering whether we'll ever travel again. But on the other hand, reading the reports that our planet is really happy that we're not traveling right now, that we've been on those airplanes, and that, even if I take the TTC every day for a year and then I go on one trip on an airplane, I've just, my carbon footprint is just, disgusting. So, we're just canceling our trip probably to Europe next year. We're just working with the travel agent to get that canceled. But, when I was a teenager, people just didn't travel like we do now. Only rich people got to travel. The richest girl I knew, even she had never really traveled, but her parents had. But my parents had never traveled. And all I wanted was to go to Europe. Oh, I wanted to go to Europe. So I actually turned 21 in the cockpit of the Ward Air charter flight going into Amsterdam. I turned 21 on that plane, and the pilot found out from one of the stewards that I was turning 21, and he invited me up into the cockpit, and I watched as we came in over we went over England, and as we started to go into Amsterdam, I was in the cockpit. Can you imagine that? I was spending my student grant and loan to go to Europe that summer. I never bought any textbooks. I just used the ones in the library. I scrimped and I saved, and I had enough from my student loan and my grant to take me and my boyfriend to Europe for a backpacking summer. And I want to tell you, one of my favorite places we went was Barcelona, which in those days, I have to tell you, was still under fascist rule under Franco. And I hope, when I think about our civil liberties being taken away from us in this ridiculous time that we're in, that comes to mind. There were secret police of all different kinds that wore different uniforms. Franco's secret police, his police, they had like machine guns strung over one side and the bullets over the other side like that. And they were standing under the archways of all the public buildings. And I remember we walked under the archway by mistake, and that rifle went up around my boyfriend's neck like that. You could be shot for picking Seville orange in the parks. It was a crazy time. But the 5 days or whatever we were in Barcelona on that backpacking trip, we were staying in a pensione, which is like a bed and breakfast, except that it's more than breakfast. It's 3 meals a day. And we happened to be there both Thursday and Sunday, which were both bullfight days and feast days. And so we had paella twice, because on feast days, Thursdays and Sundays, they serve paella. We were back in Barcelona last year. My friend Christina's living there now, and there's no more bullfights. The bullfight ring has been, to my dismay, has been turned into a shopping mall. But we did eat paella, and we did eat octopus, which they call pulpa. And I absolutely love paella. So anyway, I'm going to make paella tonight, and I'm going to make a simple version. Normally, when I make paella for the family, I use this pot right here. Are you ready to see the size of it? Bob, can you hold that back there so they can see the size of it compared to me? Look how big this is. Hold it right back so you can see how big it is. This is a paella pan. Paella is meant for celebration, right? And you fill this.
I can't see when I'm filming.
That's okay. I'm going to turn around in a second. So paella, and this will be done in the oven. And my paella pan has a lid. I got my paella pan in what we call the bazaar, which is where in the condo where I live, people put things down there in the recycle room when they don't want them anymore. And there was a paella pan. I was like, yes, I will have that. And I've made paella in there several times. My last birthday, I had my daughter made the paella, and we had a beautiful party. We had 2 kinds of paella. The paella I had back when I was just 21 in Barcelona was filled with all kinds of things like there was sausage, chicken, bits of lobster that weren't the claws or the tails. They were all the other bits like legs and things. All little oysters, little mussels, just all kinds of things. Some fish. So paella can be made with whatever. Chorizo sausage is typical, but I'm not using chorizo tonight. I'm just going to make a seafood one. You can put chicken legs. You can put any kind of protein in there. But there are a few things that make it paella and not something else. Now, like I said, tonight I'm just going to do a really simple one. When I do it in the oven in my great big pan, the prized part of the paella is that it gets a little bit crisp on the outsides and on the where against the pan gets a little bit crisp, and when you so that's the prized part. Everybody wants the little crispy bits. But if you do it on the top of the stove, you're not so likely to get the crispy bits. But on the other hand, for a weeknight meal, even though it's a celebration, you're you're not making as big a batch, but you can still make it as authentically Spanish as you like. I love Spanish cooking. As a matter of fact, I think that Spanish olive oil is the finest olive oil I've ever had, and try and buy it. No. They don't export it because they're keeping it all for themselves. They told me, no, we don't export our olive oil. You can't have it because they use it all domestically. So you can find Italian olive oil every day of the week, but you're not going to find Spanish. Okay, so Bobby, come on back. I'm going to get Bobby to do the filming. I was just on a little stand. I had I found my little iPhone stand, and so I thought I'd use that tonight. And hello to Laura and Lynn and Claudine and Janet who are watching live. That's wonderful. So happy to see you. And I know other people will join later on, and and so that'll be great too. And I'm just as pleased as punch that people are watching and enjoying these recipes and having some fun and thinking of new things to cook, because what else are we doing? It's going to be a long time. Trudeau tells us July at the earliest. Okay, come on around, Bobby.
Yep.
Here's Bobby coming. Oh, I have to switch him around so you can see. There he is. Okay. So, I think I'm going to change how I cook. I've been getting things ready for you guys when I make the videos, and it makes it so much more enjoyable when I get to the stove. I think I'm going to do this all the time now. It's kind of awesome, because I want to make these not too long, and because I want time to chat, as you can tell. So I don't even have I have a wooden spoon. Okay, so tonight I'm using this pan, this heavy pan, because I'm going to cook it on the stove instead of in my big paella pan, which makes enough for an army. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. If I had Spanish, I'd use it, but I don't, because I can't buy it here. I brought some home when we were in Spain in the summer.
I had some Jose Feliciano.
That'd be good. I don't think he was from Spain, though.
No, he wasn't, but he played Spanish music.
That's right. And so I'm just going to heat that up. And we're going to start with bacon, because you want something a bit smoky in paella. So smoked bacon is a really good way to start. You don't want to use smoked paprika necessarily, because saffron is the defining color and spice. Saffron's really expensive. A cheaper way to get that color is to use turmeric, which you can do. I do have some saffron. I bought some a while ago, so I'm going to use a bit of saffron. But honestly, if that's just too rich for your blood, go ahead and use turmeric, which is cheap as anything. So I'm going to fry up a little bit of bacon, which I cut up. That's about 3 strips of bacon. Waiting in the wings, I have some arborio rice, the same kind of rice we use for risotto. There's another kind, a Spanish kind called bolboya or something, which I have bought, and it's excellent. There's a Spanish version of that. Makes a very nice paella. In a pinch, just use long grain rice if that's all you've got. But you know, if you've got the arborio rice, because I was teaching you to make risotto and arancini with arborio rice, then use that for this as well. Okay, so I'm just going to.
Where's the way of button for me? Way of button here.
There's nobody. I already did that. Okay, so I'm going to add to that. I'm going to add. Now, like I say, when I make this for a gang, I would triple this recipe, but I'm just going to make 1 cup of arborio rice. Going to go in there with the hot bacon. And just the same as making risotto, you wait until you fry it up a little bit until you get that creamy white center. Same idea. I'm putting my glasses on so I can see it. Doesn't take long. I'm already seeing that creamy white center come up because it was good and hot in there. I don't know if you can see how.
Yeah. Oh, they
see,
should be able to see the
see how it's got that
bottom a little bit.
Some of it seems translucent and some's
Yep.
got a little white spot. That's when it's, give it a little more, it starts to crackle a little bit. That's good. That gets the rice started. Over here in my pot, I have 2 cups of chicken stock, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't have any of my good homemade chicken stock. I used the boxed kind. At least it's organic. It's not bad. You can also use, if you look at me for a sec, you can also use clam juice. It's very, very good in this, or a fish stock if you're doing fish. Okay, then I'm going to add a chopped onion and a chopped pepper. It can be any color of pepper.
Can you mix it? I guess you could mix green, red, orange if you want to color it up.
One pepper though.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, we want to get that onion translucent before we do anything more. And we're going to add some herb to this. You know, isn't it amazing? I always think in cooking how amazing it is that the different cultures make entirely different dishes using exactly the same ingredients. And just by how they flavor it up with the herbs or the method that they use to cook it, it's a different dish. There are only so many ingredients in the world. Every once in a while I try a new ingredient that is some exotic thing that I find at Freshco or something, some vegetable, and then I don't like it. But anyway, about a teaspoon of oregano tonight. This is oregano. I cut off the top so you can't see it. Teaspoon of oregano. I have whole coriander, which is preferred, but you could, if you didn't, you could use powdered. A little bit of coriander seed, whole seeds. We put those in the stock, remember? Same ingredients used in multiple ways. I'm going to add some salt to this. A teaspoon. Okay, so Bob, I'm going to turn that down while you come on over here and look at this pot. Into the stock, I'm going to put a nice pinch of, I get it out, of saffron thread. Oh, I need to get it out. I'll put those ones in. I need the end of a spoon or something to get this out. It's kind of stuck. A few threads of saffron. It's very expensive, so you know you want to keep it for the next time. I think this little bottle was like $16. So a few threads. Don't waste any. Go in there. Into this pot, I'm going to put some garlic that I chopped up. Remember, garlic goes in at the end because it has a tendency to burn quite quickly. So it goes in at the end. I actually minced up the garlic tonight. I didn't get lazy and use the squeezy garlic. Oh yeah, this is getting, okay, I've got it turned off. And so into here goes a can of tomatoes. And my stock. There. Okay. Now, the rest of it isn't going to go in until it's cooked. This is going to put the lid on. It's going to cook about 40 minutes, 45 minutes until the rice is cooked. Then I'm going to add, and this is the point where you can do whatever you like. I'm going to add shrimp. I've got some large ones. In Spain, when you get your paella, the shrimp come and they are complete, like the heads are on, the eyeballs are looking at you. At least these don't have the eyeballs on, but they're not completely cleaned, so they're in in a bit of a shell. That's very authentic to have like the whole shrimp, and people are in there with their fingers getting it clean and everything. That's very authentic Spanish. I'm also going to add, and again, we're using, like right now, I can't get fresh fish right now. I mean, that's just not happening. I'm not going to the grocery store and standing in line for fresh fish. So I've got frozen cod fillets that I put it in nice big chunks about this size. They're about just bite size, or a little more than bite size.
More than bite size.
They're gonna go in, they're frozen. They're gonna go in at the end just for a few minutes just to heat them through, as well as some frozen peas. And that's it. That's all that's going in. That's all there is to paella. That's a simple one, absolutely yummy as a weeknight meal and as a celebration meal when you put all the things in, the chorizo sausage, maybe some chicken, maybe some mussels at the end. You just put them in at the very end. You could put in a squid or octopus. You know, you can do the whole shoot and match. Then you've got a real celebration dish. But we're not going to be seeing our people to have those big celebrations for a while, so we'll just do it this way. And I'm glad to see you all, and I love to hear your comments. And we will bake again soon. I just have to give that a little bit of a rest for now, okay? What does Bob want to say?
Bye, y'all, and have a great, great, great day.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Love you.